Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Path Towards Remembrance. I think it is the first one in 2025. And today I planned for us to go through something which I think will be quite interesting because the topic for today is the histories of various Earths. So that means that we will be looking at what was happening on different versions of this planet before it fell. So maybe some of you are familiar with the context of Tara, Gaia, and Aramatena. And this kind of ties to something that I was talking quite a few months ago about the origins of our fall, how this Elasian fall, which was the fall of the Black Dragon races, basically led to many complications in this universe. So today we are going to focus on how we actually found ourselves in the third dimension and what are we really doing here and what is our mission, let's say, as a collective, as the angelic human race. And this might resonate especially with those of you that are having the pure angelic human template, which is the DNA template of the 12 DNA strands, because this number 12 will be basically corresponding to something that I will mention during the presentation. So I hope that you enjoy this, and I suggest that we can begin. So I'm going to share the presentation with all of you because it's going to help us kind of look at things in quite an organized way. So, as I said, the topic for today is the histories of various Earths. And we are basically going to take a look at how our planet Earth has been basically falling a couple of times and how it can actually reclaim back its, let's say, primordial blueprint. So, we already know that the history of creation is basically the memory of Source. It is a set of multiple experiences that each aspect of the Source consciousness has gone through on the inside of the cosmoversal creation bubble, which enables the Aya, the unutterable mind of the Source, to self-express for further exploration of its eternal transcendental identity. Each one of us is an aspect of this eternal transcendental consciousness that is everything that is. When each consciousness gestalt chooses to experience itself on the inside of the cosmoversal creation bubble, it is given the free gifts of the Source that can be utilized according to each one's chosen experiential journey. The higher the level of full embodiment of the free gifts of the Source each consciousness has, the closer it remains to the Aya unutterable mind. So basically, the reason why there is something like the planets and galaxies and universes is because the Source is basically the Source consciousness is projecting out certain experiential fields that are referred to as the cosmoversal creation bubbles, and they are very massive fields of consciousness. And basically, through that process of, let's say, self-expression, seeding different forms of life, forms of consciousness, the Source is experiencing through those multiple aspects, learning more about its transcendental identity. And this is something that I was explaining a while back on my other videos. So if you are interested to learn more about like the creation structure and the consciousness gestalts, you can find all of this on my YouTube channel already. But let's focus on the different aspects of Earth. And maybe some of those names are already familiar to you, maybe they are not so familiar yet. This is basically something that I was partially also explaining on my plasma regenesis classes, on which we were especially learning about the fall of Gaia. So basically we can see that Earth is having different aspects of itself, and through those different aspects, this planet basically is going through different cycles of experience. However, I would say in organic conditions, our planet is known under the name of aramatena in density 4. And this is, let's say, an aspect of our planet in external creation. Today, I will not be going into the aspect of Urea Earth because this is something that we looked into on our previous video, where we also know that the Urea Earth is basically almost like a divine eternal self aspect, or more like eternal self consciousness of our planet. And through the mechanics of the eternal host, our planet will very soon become Urea Earth. But before this eternal host mechanics was even considered, we had planet Earth that was known as aramatena in density 4. And then we know that basically the fall of aramatena led to a certain fragmentation where we can see that there's only aramatena and it doesn't have any kind of like twins or anything like that. It is a planet that can be perceived as one whole. While if we go to density 3, to the lower dimensional planes, we can already see that we have Gaia and Maya. So on the particle side of our universe, we have Gaia. And then its, let's say, twin flame is called Maya. And we will find out as we go through this presentation that there was a certain event that was referred to as the Dance of the Two Mothers. And the Dance of Two Mothers was basically enabling the two twins, the two mothers, Gaia and Maya, to come together and become Aramatena once again. But because of certain, let's say, plasma wars that occurred on Gaia in density 3, this dance of the mothers basically was put into an end, and it didn't allow Gaia and Maya to come together and become Aramatena once again. And because of that, certain things needed to be fixed in the planetary structure of Gaia and Maya. And that's why we have another split into Tara and Hara. And we are going to trace it on one more diagram where this is going to make much more sense. But basically those two aspects of Gaia, Tara and Hara, were once again, they were supposed to assist with bringing those aspects of Aramatena that have been lost a very long time ago. But as we know, as probably many of you know, Tara also suffered the same fall. So we can see that it's almost like a certain karmic imprint that those planets have been constantly following, where their planetary course kept suffering more and more fragmentation. And because of that, more and more of that organic memory matrix has been lost. So we finally got to that stage where we reside on planet Earth in the particle universe density 1, dimension 3. And then there is this antiparticle aspect of our planet that is known as Arta. So we have Earth and Arta, and those two were also kind of supposed to cooperate with each other, but again, because of certain misalignments that started to occur in Arta's core, that didn't happen. So we are going to now take a look at this more in detail, and hopefully this will give us more perspective on what actually happened with those planets on the first place. There's certain information that are already available, but there's also certain information that have been lost in the records for a very long time. And now, thanks to the eternal host mechanics, this is finally being retrieved. And also, I would say there's one more aspect to it where the elementals never really forgot what happened. Many trees and many animals and just even the elemental essences, they remember the story of different planets because they originate mostly from Gaia and Aramatena. So they still hold a memory matrix of what happened to those planets. So you don't have to look that far. Okay, so let's begin with Aramatena. Basically, I will just quickly explain that this is very much related to the Elasian first fall that I was speaking about a couple of months ago, in which certain races decided to start an experiment on in the internal creation planes. and that led to creating the races that were fully reversed, and they are known as the Black Dragon races. And those Black Dragon races started later invading the entire universe and causing the consciousness degeneration of other multi-dimensional races. So for that reason, we have right now, there's a lot of races that fell, and they have been almost led to that very miserable destiny because of the black dragons. So when we talk about the aramatena, this is something very important because aramatena used to exist in density 4 of our local time matrix, and the main mission of our time matrix and the name of our time matrix is basically Antalya. So I'm gonna use that name sometimes because it brings the vibrational encryption of the true mission of our universe. So the main mission of Antalya was basically to prevent the further Black Dragon invasion. So the moment Aramatena was birthed, it basically was carrying a very important purpose. Because Aramatena was holding the Stargate number 12, which was like the highest level of Stargates in our universe, Aramatena has always been a target because it was holding the keys to ascension, to being able to ascend out of this time matrix. So Aramatena has been basically invaded by different races, especially the Draconian, Reptilian, and the Anunnaki races. But those races, the reason why they fell on the first place is because they were carrying a part of the Black Dragon coding that they were eventually supposed to transmute. So, like, they agreed as a part of the bioregenesis to take on this coding for themselves. And through their progressive evolution, they basically wanted to transmute a part of this coding to almost create like a divine blueprint for the black dragon races, that later those black dragons that would like to heal themselves, they could follow that blueprint and progressively heal themselves. But that was not really the case because of what happened. The black dragon races basically started infiltrating those specific races that carried parts of their coding, and they started to influence them through this coding. And because of that, basically, this led to significant, almost like plasma wars that already started in density 4 and led to explosion of the core of Aramatena and its further split. I will get to how it happened in a moment. So just to kind of summarize what I just said, Aramatena and all of its aspects, they were carrying not just the Stargate 12, that was like the main gateway from this universe, but Aramatena is also indelibly connected with the internal Elysian passage to the deity planes. All aspects of Aramatena can provide the host to other systems and forms of life. So that's why basically the Aramatena and all the neighboring systems were kind of taking care of the bioregenesis process of the Black Dragon races, because they were basically holding those specific keys to the deity planes, to the internal creation, and to Stargate 12. And also it provides the connection to the three core flames of the Thunder races. So it was almost like the heart of Antalya, the Stargate 12. So, what exactly happened? The structural distortions in the manifestation templates of Aramatena began along with the progressive degeneration of the Draconian, Reptilian, and Anu races, motivated by the Black Legion that intended to disconnect Antalya from its source 0 point. The quest for power and domination led to the destruction of Stargate 12 on planet which was located in the star system of Lyra, which served as a main passageway into and out of this time matrix. That operation had been orchestrated through the Black Dragon's manipulation of the Anu races behind the scenes. leading to an explosion of Aramatena's planetary core through massive transmissions of the reversed violet plasma ray and the red pulse, the frequencies that are being beamed a lot to this planet these days. The fall of Aramatena allowed for the further spread of the template distortions that started to affect the flow of the universal core light currents within the external creation domain. Many beings that directly experienced the fall of Aramatena suffered severe disconnection from their source zero point. This led to many forms of consciousness getting stuck within the dimensional planes of Antalya, and the entire time matrix itself was put into a buffer zone, so that its distortions could not affect other neighboring systems. So that means our entire time matrix was put into a quarantine zone. And that was the biggest problem when it comes to the fall of Aramatena. It's almost like we were disconnected from the Elasian internal plasma core flows, and that led to further distortions in the structural templates of the further versions of Aramatena. So we can see that this split has been progressing. So Aramatena, after it suffered its fall, it got split into two aspects of itself, into Gaia and into Maya. And as I said, these were like twin flames. Gaia was in the particle, Gaia was on the antiparticle side of the universe. And through their simultaneous reciprocal evolution, they were supposed to become Aramatena once again. But that didn't happen. And now many of us, as I've been noticing a lot also on my personal sessions that I'm doing, we often don't hold a lot of memories about ourselves because we have been progressively losing them. So if you started on Aramatena and then you suffered the fall along with the planet, and then let's say you suffered another fall in Gaia and then another in Tara and then lots of resets on planet Earth, then naturally you don't hold a lot of memories. And this can be perfectly seen through like the scan of the soul matrix, because our soul matrix holds the memory of those splits, or at least you can see that certain parts are missing. So what I've been doing a lot lately, because it seems like we need to also retrieve those memories on a collective level. And in order to do that, we need to also do it on a personal level. Because if you retrieve your memories on a personal level, it's almost like you add one more page to the planetary records. So the more people are going to do this kind of reawakening, the easier it will be for the planet itself to bring this collective memory on a collective scale, so that each one of us actually remembers what really happened. So that's basically what I have been noticing lately. There's more and more of us actually wanting to finally get to the core of what really happened to us throughout those eons of the plasma war agendas. So what's gonna happen with Mayas, we will notice, because we now know that, okay, Aramatena fell into Gaia and Maya, but Maya didn't fall again. What happened to Maya is that it was basically hosted by the Elasian collectives, and a part of its structure was later moved into the planes of the internal creation. So it's like Maya was almost put into a buffer zone to keep at least a certain part of the divine blueprint of Aramatena untouched. But what happened to Gaia is that a part of its core went into a black hole, and then it's like it was kind of like partially rescued and inserted into Hara, but then Hara, which is like the antiparticle of Tara, suffered another fall, and right now Hara might be known as Tiamat along some of the fallen teachings of the fallen angels. And then we have Tara, which, due to multiple manipulations that occurred on the way, that we'll speak about later, kind of outpictured into Earth and Arta. So this is like a split that started to happen. And let's take a look further on how all of this was taking place. So Aramatena fell, and what happened next? there was a certain rescue mission that was orchestrated by many interstellar races that basically wanted to restore the primordial blueprint of Gaia and to also assist these souls that lost a part of their memory matrix because of the fall of Aramatena. So the seeding of the angelic human race on Gaia through the call of the deity was the first step. And that means that Maya and Gaia were cooperating together. And what happened is that basically this plan is known as the dance of the two mothers. The original plan was basically orchestration of the dance of the two mothers that was supposed to enable the progressive energetic blending of the Maya and Gaia templates. And that basically would allow to fix any kind of distortions that occurred in the structure of the aramatena after its split into Maya and Gaia. So the dance of the two mothers was basically allowing for Maya and Gaia to blend their planetary templates together to once again become aramatena. And that was not such an easy task. And for that, something called the call of the deity was orchestrated. The call of the deity is basically the direct incarnation of the deity internal souls through the access to the K+8 factor, which enabled the reawakening of the internal plasma template potential. So that means that through the call of the deity, the souls from the planes of the internal creation, which are known as the deity planes, basically started incarnating into the, let's say, into the bodies of the angelic humans on Gaia and Maya. And let's say through the parts of their plasma templates being activated, these angelic humans basically had an opportunity to start purifying certain parts of the distortions that arised after the fall of Aramatena. And these are basically the races that we can see, the oraphim races of Maya and Gaia, which are basically the angelic humans. They are almost like versions of us in density 3. So many of us that are here right now actually had their direct incarnations in Maya and Gaia. So we can see this certain, like the main three, we can find main three groups among the oraphim races of Gaia and Maya. First, we have the K+8 deity initiates, and those are the ones that lived on both Maya and Gaia. And through the fact that they carried something called the K+8 factor, which is like carrying the full spectra of the plasma currents within themselves, like the capability in their DNA template, that was basically allowing them to almost like be the frequency pillars for anchoring those plasma currents to the planet. So those deity initiates that carried the K+8 factor were anchoring the frequencies that were coming from the Elasian passage first, and then they were broadcasting them to other oraphims, and then they were basically spreading it to the rest of the planetary biofield. So we have the blue and the white oraphims that lived on Maya, and then the green and the violet oraphims that lived on Gaia. So if any of you are familiar with like the context of like those plasma shields and like the distortions that started to arise in the green and the violet ring, this goes all the way back to the fall of Gaia, where there's some people these days that are very much almost like, I would say, pretty much obsessed with activating their plasma template. It's all that matters, the plasma template activations. The reason for it is that they keep looking for that fragment of themselves, a fragment of their actual plasma template that stayed on Gaia, and they are basically trying to find it because they subconsciously sense that this piece of themselves is missing. So that's kind of where this plasma body agenda is coming from. So let's see what happened among those oraphim races, because this is almost like a key to what happened to Gaia on the first place. Why did we suffer this fall to, let's say, one density below. So the Gaian fall began with progressive infiltrations that were taking place directly in the Gaian system. The Fatali races pretended to be another collective that was supposed to assist with the bioregenesis of the distorted manifestation templates of aramatena. In reality, the fallen Alhambra races deceived the oraphim and began their hijacking agenda by reversing the internal plasma templates of the green and violet oraphim, which led to the emergence of the dark flowering effect. This allowed for the direct invasion by the Black Dragon forces through the reversed violet plasma technology. So it's not like those races, it's not like the Black Legion just attacked Maya and Gaia. They were kind of infiltrating this system from the inside, and they did it through the Fatali races, which are the fallen Alhambra races. And those Fatali races basically were carrying the Fatali factor, which is like the reversed version of the K plus factor. And so they basically were cloaking. They were pretending to be, let's say, brothers from other systems that are also kind of participating in this mission of retrieving the plasma templates and their progressive realignment. The K plus 8 deity initiates, those ones that were, let's say, the highest, that were keeping the K plus 8 factor potential, they could feel that there's something definitely wrong with those races, and they wanted to basically, they didn't want them on the planet. They could naturally feel that something is wrong. But the green and the violet oraphims from Gaia, they got very easily deceived because those Fatali races, or the fallen Alhambras, whatever you choose to call them, they started to basically reverse their plasma templates, the plasma templates of those green and violet oraphims, through interbreeding with them. And that led to very high dark flowering effect. And as a result of it, there's been those reversals also started to spread to the planetary grids. And when that amount of reversals was basically sufficient enough, the Black Dragons invaded Gaia. And they did it to Gaia because that was the easiest opening through the green and the violet oraphims. It would be much more difficult, if not impossible, to get to Maya because it had the higher it was basically integrating the higher aspects of the plasma template that usually cannot be reversed that easily. So what matters is that half of Gaia's core was dragged into a black hole system, along with the part of the morphogenetic field that contained all the blueprints of the Gaian souls. The other half of the planetary core was put into a buffer zone and was later downstepped to become Tara in dimension 5 of external creation. So we can see that split into two that occurred in the planetary core of Gaia. So the main consequences of the Gaian fall involve the first blank slate technology that was used, where all the memories about the dance of the two mothers have been completely erased from the planetary records. No memory whatsoever about the dance of the two mothers. That's why there's very little information about Maya on the first place, because as I said, this information was just wiped out from any kind of records that we could possibly find. And it's been also blank slated from the memory matrices of the souls that suffered that tragic reset. Another thing is the dark flowering affliction, which occurred in the templates of the violet-green oraphim and became the main opening for infiltration in further seedings. So that's kind of what created the opening on Tara and during the first seeding of Earth. Those distortions never exactly disappeared, and people who suffer from very serious dark flowering distortions nowadays are basically experiencing the side effects of what happened on Gaia, especially if they didn't retrieve that blueprint of themselves yet. Another thing is the split in the structural templates of Gaia that led to Maya having to be put into a buffer zone in the deity planes to prevent further reversals. So Maya was rescued, and it was basically almost like transitioned into the deity planes, and it's still there. And then the false Gaian timeline inserted into the galactic timeline, and then it got manifested as Tiamat. So I would not trust anyone that talks about Tiamat because it's basically a part of the fallen core of Gaia. So then after Gaia, we have Tara and Hara, another set of twins. And just keep in mind that Tara has nothing to do with Maya, Hara also has nothing to do with Maya. Once Gaia split, it split into two parts again. And Tara was the one that was holding, let's say, this not fallen part of the core of Gaia. And Hara was basically holding a part of Gaia's core that fell, but that part was put into a buffer zone so that this planet doesn't fall straight away. So Tara is basically a planet that is located in dimension 5 of external creation that carried the encryption of Gaia's core that did not suffer the fall. Thus, it carried the organic imprint of aramatena prior to its fall. So Tara was a very important aspect of the entire rescue mission of Antalya, of our time matrix. And then we have Hara, a planet located in dimension 5 of external creation, on the antiparticle side of the universe. Hara suffered its fall due to the Wisadek Borgia invasion and was dragged into the black hole system, losing a connection with the rest of its aspects. It is known as Phantom Tiamat, and the opening was through the fact that there were those distortions from that part of the Gaia's core that suffered the fall. So what basically led to another fall, which occurred on Tara. So basically this entire evolution of the angelic humans on Tara was under the protectorate of the Elohim races, but those races already carried the imprint of the split that happened on Gaia, the split of the planetary core. And also they did not have their plasma templates activated, except for some very specific individuals, but in most cases the plasma template was shut down, mainly because of the fact that if those races were born with their plasma template activated, there would be no possibility for those races to basically hold the imprint, the right imprint of the plasma template. There would be they would probably spread those distortions to Tara, basically. So what started to happen is that even before the seeding on Tara started, which was around 560 million years ago, Hara already fell 580 million years ago, so 20 million years before Tara. And that was really, really bad news for us, for all of the interstellar races, because basically what certain races were hoping for, that Tara would basically hold enough quantum to assist Hara with transmuting a part of this Gaia's core that suffered the reversal. But that simply didn't happen, and that almost led to another bigger catastrophe. So those interstellar races were aware that Hara fell because of those Borgia Wisadek invasion, but they still started the first seeding of angelic human race on Tara 560 million years ago. But let's say the party didn't last for long because of what happened, not just with the misuse of the planetary core energies of Tara, as it is mentioned mainly in the book called Voyagers of Ashayana Din, but there's also more things that happened. The reason why this consciousness of Tara started to be degenerated on the first place is because of something called the evil twin effect. So what happened to Tara is that it fell into a black hole, and it basically had it was holding a lot of Metatronic reversals. And what those Syrian Anunnaki beings did, so-called solar initiates that basically claimed to bring wisdom to Tara, but they basically brought only chaos and another fall, is that they also started opening passages between Tara and Hara that allowed for the evil twin effect to come. And the evil twin effect meant that it almost like created an opening for the fallen consciousness aspects from Hara to come to Tara. And now maybe some of you are like, like have really bad memories when it comes to the kind of meeting a twin flame that later turned out to be your biggest enemy, and or like kind of like being reversed because of a relationship with someone. So this is basically what I am referring to. The evil twin effect already started on Tara, and it basically meant that this reversed energetic atomic consciousness that came from Hara, and they usually manifested as different beings that sometimes also claim to be angelic human beings. Why not? They basically started to infiltrate the angelic human society and spread the Metatronic and the dark flowering distortions that led to the fall and the generation of the consciousness of many angelic human beings, especially after we started interbreeding with them. And some of those fallen beings from Hara have been also chasing us even to this day on planet Earth. So this is like a very, very serious thing here. And so all of those manipulations, after the Syrian Anunnaki managed to start collaborating with certain fallen angelic humans, fallen because of the evil twin effect, this led to explosion of Tara's core due to the misuse of the planetary energies. And so Tara basically falls and splits into 12 parts that we can see as basically the planets in our solar system. So Tara was basically downgraded from dimension 5 to dimension 3 in density 1. And so we can see that like there's a lot of like messages about Amenti and Earth basically holding the flame of Amenti, which is like, let's say, a part of the morphogenetic core of Tara. But this is only a part. So like if Tara fell into 12 parts, then logically we have 12 parts of the Tara's core that need to be restored. So the actual mission of the 12 angelic tribes of Earth is basically restoring those 12 aspects of Tara. So maybe some of you will feel more drawn to the energies of Amur, which is a part of, which is the aspect of Tara's core that is maintained by Uranus. Or there is, for example, Alina, which is a part of the Tara's core that is held by Mercury. Or we've got the Aquasa, which is an aspect of Tara's core held by Maldek. Right now it's the asteroid belt. So some of the angelic human beings might be actually holding the codes to some of those aspects of Tara's core that need to be retrieved. So the actual mission these days of various aspects of the angelic human tribes is not just the restoration of Amenti, but also restoration of those 12 aspects of Tara that will be unified through the eternal host. So that's what happened after the fall of Tara, and then we have the return of the dance of the two mothers during the first seeding of the angelic human race. So I'm not gonna elaborate on what happened with the other planets. I will just focus on Earth and its counterpart, which is Arta. So 125 million years ago, we have the covenant of the two mothers. The Elysian councils began work on creating a trans-time bridge between Earth, Arta, and the divine blueprint of Maya Gaia before the fall. This procedure was taking place through connecting Maya and Gaia with their authentic self, deity blueprints, located in density 3 of the internal creation deity planes. This transplanial reconnection, referred to as the dance of the two mothers, allowed for progressive restoration and regeneration of Arta's templates and provided a fresh start for Earth Seeding 1. So this procedure through like this trans-time connection with Gaia before its fall, that part of Gaia's core that never fell, and also Maya, this allowed for the dance of the two mothers that was supposed to unify Earth and Arta together with their divine blueprints. But unfortunately, that was not so simple because of certain infiltrations that started to take place on Arta, and that was also orchestrated by the Black Dragon races, which inserted a part of their coding into the coding of the angelic humans. And then, let's say, our counterparts from Arta basically started to also spread it to our particle side of the universe, so that means to planet Earth. Let's take a look. 5.5 million years ago, the plasma wars escalated on Arta and they spread to Earth. The Black Legion directly attacked Earth's planetary grids using the continuous vulnerability of the human genome, referred to as the evil twin effect. So it's the second time when the evil twin effect was put into place. Distortions that the antiparticle counterparts were carrying in their DNA templates had a direct impact on angelic humans living on the particle Earth. Wars of pure plasma energy began on Earth and reached a culmination point when the Black Legion activated the reversed cathedral complex. This allowed for the dark flowering affliction to spread on a massive scale, creating an opening for the Black Dragons to overtake the planetary gates. So what happened as a result of the plasma wars is that we've got the activation of the reversed plasma flows on the planet through the internal cathedral complex. And I am going to speak about it probably next week or very soon. There will be a special video where we will speak a little bit about the contemporary events that are happening on this planet, because the current interest of certain, let's say, political groups with Greenland and Mongolia and other parts of the world, all of this has a certain purpose. And as some of you may have noticed already, maybe, those locations have been given as the actual, like Mongolia, Greenland, certain aspects of Russia, they have been noted as one of the places where the organic internal cathedral complexes, the deity cathedrals. So I will elaborate on that more. I would already start speaking about it, but this is not the topic for today. So anyway, what I wanted to mention is that what the Black Legion did at that time, 5 million years ago, this has an impact until today. So, because of the plasma wars, which were the massive wars of pure energy that almost destroyed this entire planet, the seeding one of the angelic human race became extinct on Arta 6 million years ago and on Earth 5 million years ago. After the fall of seeding one, the Black Legion took over the planetary grids by creating a wormhole system referred to as the Wall in Time. This created a false phantom realm, trapping many soul fragments that got lost or stuck in the planetary environment during the fall of Seeding 1. This led to millions of angelic human souls losing their eternal life potential, getting stuck in the vicious wheel of incarnation due to disconnection from their D12 divine blueprints. The Wall in Time created a split between Earth and the two mothers, completely erasing any collective memory of the dance of two mothers. And there's still millions of souls that are trapped in that Wall in Time, almost like a void space, like a phantom realm, in which those souls are basically stuck in their own projections and they are not able to get out, and there's a massive part of their soul matrix that is stuck there. So retrieving those aspects is basically very, very important when it comes to our own path towards remembrance. The next two seedings of the angelic human race began their cycles with their plasma templates put into a state of dormancy, and with blank slate technology inserted into their light body templates to erase the memories of the Gaian fall and the plasma wars, as well as any remembrance of the black dragons themselves. And now through the eternal host mechanics, we are getting those memories back. So that would be everything when it comes to like a small lesson in history. If you are interested in learning more about what I've been just talking about and any other more interesting things, throughout January and February, I am organizing the online events of Path towards Remembrance. Yesterday, we had the first online event about the rainbow rings of the eternal dreams. You can access all of those events through the replays, or you can also participate online. So if you are interested, you are most welcome to check it out. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some inner realizations. It's been so lovely to be able to present this to you. And I suppose I will bring you some more information next week or by the end of this week. And we are going to speak more about what is going on this planet and how is this related to this bigger energetic picture. So have a wonderful day and speak to you soon. Bye bye.